Hello and welcome to another fun-filled video on Math with Mr. Sims. Today we're going to be talking about the segment addition postulate. And what the segment addition postulate is basically it says that that a whole is the sum of its part, or that if you have something that is whole, that it's basically comprised of all the parts that make it up, right? So it's the sum of its parts. So anyway, with segments, what that looks like essentially, sorry, let me get a layer here that I'm looking for. New vector layer, there we go. So with the segment, what we're looking at is, let's say I had this segment here, right? And if I have that segment here, let's say, I'm just going to put some dots on it, right? I'm just going to put a couple dots on it here, right? And what this is saying here is, let's say this dot's A, B, C, and D, that if I knew the distance from A to D here, right? If I know that distance, right? Then that distance from A to D is really going to be equal to the sum of all these little pieces that make it up. So it's going to be AB plus BC plus CD. And if I add all those together, I should get AD. And that's what the segment addition postulate tells us, right? And it doesn't matter how many of these I have here. Let's say I didn't have this point right here, or this point right here, right? Let's say I just had these two, and then I'm going to erase that so it's not B. Let's say it was that small, right? And then at the end here it was just C, right? Pen. So let's say it was just C here, right? I don't know why that's not working. There we go. So there we go. So if that was C, then I had a dot here, and this was B. Well, then once again, the distance from A to C is going to be equal to, I'll erase all this stuff. And that distance from A to C is going to be equal to the distance from A to B plus the distance from B to C. Okay? So that's what it is. Basically, that this segment is made up of these two segments here. Okay? All right, so knowing that, let's go ahead and do some problems with it and see where we're at. So this is the most simple problem I have here today, is find G of GH. And so this one here, it says that we see that this line segment here has a distance of a measurement of 9. And this one here has a measurement of 1 and 1. From F to G is 1. From H to I is 1 also. So that tells me that this 9 then is equal to the distance GH, or the measurement of GH, or the line segment GH, plus the 1 from HI here, plus the other one from FG, right? So here, if I just combine these two, I now have, sorry about the chicken scratch, is equal to GH, right, plus 2, right, is equal to 9, right? Then you subtract the 2 on both sides. This is basic algebra, right? Subtract that 2, and you get 7 is equal to that GH, right? So that tells us that this segment of the, this line segment, this portion of it, is GH is 7 units long, okay? So that's how I would solve for that problem, okay? And that would be done because they asked me to find GH, and I did. The value is 7, okay? Let's go ahead and look at another one. So this one's slightly more complex, right? Let me erase that. All right, so this one is slightly more complex, but not very, very difficult still, right? You have the total distance being 20. They want us to find QS. So they want us to find the distance from here to here, that distance right there, okay? And so what I need to do then, I see that the distance from here to here is 6. So I'm actually part of the way there. I just need to recognize what this distance is. Well, so looking at that distance here, I do know the distance from here all the way to here, and I know the distance from here to here. Well, if I subtract these two distances, I'm going to achieve the result of getting this distance here from R to S. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that 20, right? I'm going to subtract from that 20 the 12. 20 minus 12 is going to give me this distance right here, which is the distance from R to S, which is what I'm looking for. So 20 minus 12 is 8. So that tells me the distance from R to S is 8. Now if I wrote 8, I would be wrong though, because they want me to find Q of S. It's QS, sorry. So what I want to do is I want to take this 8 units and add to it this 6 units. 6 plus 8 is equal to 14. And 14 is my winner, chicken dinner. Ding! All right, moving on to the next one. Now it's going to start to get slightly more difficult. And when I say slightly more difficult, I mean a lot more difficult. So, all right, so this right here is actually, it's not that much more difficult, really. But the thing is, you look at this and you cry because there's no pictures. And my question to you is, why won't you draw the picture, right? So here's the thing. If you need pictures, you draw the picture, right? Because the thing is, some of the greatest minds, in fact, if I look at Euclid's Elements here, this is Euclid's Elements. And you will find in Euclid's Elements, picture, picture, picture. This guy was crazy smart, and yet there are pictures everywhere. So the thing you need to understand is pictures really do make things easier to understand, helps you to visualize it, right? And that's not the only reason he was doing it to prove it as well. But I want you to draw pictures. If you're struggling, draw pictures. Even if you're not struggling, it's just a good habit. Draw pictures. When you do engineering design and stuff like that, you will be drawing pictures all the time. So you might as well just get used to it, right? So here you go. You have, in fact, the only theoretical physics you don't. Anyway, moving on. All right, moving on. Here we go. So A, B, C, D, right? I'm going to go from A to D, right? And I'm going to start this point. This point is going to be A, right? And if you look at the instructions for these problems, they do give you one very important piece where they tell you that these are all collinear, and that is important, that they all be on the same line. And it also tells you that they're in order from A, B, C, and D. So do make the dots in order, okay? So A, B, C, and finally D here. I think I'm going to carpal tunnel. All right, moving on. So AD is going to, this total distance here, from here to here, is 250, okay? That's this measurement here, okay? For 250. Sorry about the chicken scratch a little bit. All right, so we know that that's the total distance, right? We know that BC is 3x plus 189, right? We know that CD is 3x plus 159, right? And we know that AB is 9x plus 382. All right, so once you have all that, right? Yeah, once you have all that, let's solve it. Okay, so I know that the whole, the 250, is the sum of its parts. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by just rewriting these different parts added together. So 9x plus 382, right? I'm going to add to that, and I'm going to do this in parentheses. And the reason I do it in parentheses is later on you're going to be doing subtraction. You're going to have to distribute in the subtraction sign, the negative. So I'm just getting you in good habits here, right? Plus 3x plus 159, all right? And all of that is equal to the sum total of 250. All right, so now that you have that, right? I'm getting better, and don't forget, at the end, they want us to find AB. They're not wanting us to find X, they're wanting us to find AB, all right? So anyway, now that I have that, what I'm going to do is distribute in this positive, which basically makes everything just stay the same. So I have now 9x plus 382, right? Plus 3x plus 189. In this case, that parentheses did not matter, and I knew that going into it, but I just wanted you to get into good habits, right? So then I'm going to combine like terms. I'm going to combine all my x's together, right? 9 plus 3 ends up being 15x, right? So I have 15x plus 382 plus 189 plus 159, right? Is all equal to 250. Well, now that I have that, I'm going to combine some more like terms. 382 plus 189 plus 159. I'm going to actually do that with a calculator. I did it earlier, actually. 730. Yeah, 730. All right, so I'm just going to change that here to 15x plus 730 is equal to 250, right? And go down here. A couple last steps here. Subtract 730, right? when I do that, I get negative 480. Oh, let's try that again. Negative 480 is equal to 15x. And by dividing both sides by 15, which is all once again basic algebra here, right? I get x is equal to negative 32. So that's my answer, right? X equals negative 32. And the answer is no. If you write that, you got it wrong. Because they want you to find AB. So AB, I have to take this equation here and substitute in for it negative 32 for x. So I have 9 times a negative 32 plus 382, right, is equal to that distance AB that I'm looking for. Okay, that's equal to AB. So, if that's, what on earth, Mr. Sims, that just will not do. Let me try that again. AB. All right. So now that I have that, right, 9 times negative 32, I'm going to do that right here. 9 times negative 32 is, what is it? It is negative 288. So I have negative 288 plus 382 is equal to that distance AB. That's not A times B, by the way. That's just the distance AB. So negative 288 plus 382 ends up being 94. And that is all she wrote, ladies and gents. That is the 94 is equal to the value of AB. Or in other words, if I go back to my original diagram, this AB is 94. And if I were to actually solve for B and C, by the way, for B, C, and CD, if I were to solve those, I would get two other numbers. But when I add those two other numbers to the 94, it should equal a total of 250. Because once again, the whole is the sum of its parts. All right, I'm going to do one more for you in case that was just like blinding light speed. I don't think it was, but let's just go ahead and do one more example for you. So find AB if CD is equal to 6, AB is equal to all this, AD is equal to all that, and BC is equal to all this. So once again, do not hurt yourself. Draw a stinking picture. So here we go. You got A. You have, what's this? So once again, the instructions tell you that they're all collinear and that they are all in order. That is important. If they are not in order and they are not collinear, it would make problems. So we have D. Find AB if CD. Okay, so CD is equal to, look at that. They made this so nice for us this time. Look at that. This is just a beautiful, nice, cute little number. Oh no, but then they made this one ugly. Man, why they got to do that to us? All right, so here we go. We got 6. BC here is 391 plus 4x. 4x, right? And AB is, oh, that's ugly. 8x plus 834. 8x plus 834, 391 plus 4x, and CD is what? That's 6. And then finally AD, this total distance here, the total is 11x plus 1135, all right? So you have to set this up, and the way you set this up is this. You say that obviously this amount here from this all the way to 11, this amount here, this distance, the total distance is 11, I'm going to write it smaller, sorry, 11x plus 1135, right? And that's going to be equal to, in fact, I'm going to give myself a slightly smaller pen just to make this a little bit easier. That's going to be equal to 8x plus 834, right? Plus 391 plus 4x, right? Yeah, plus 6, all right? So, I'm sorry about that, man. Why am I having so much trouble drawing to you guys? I am sorry. 391, that's 391 plus 4. Oh, that's why. picking up my pen too fast. All right, so 8x plus 834 plus 391 plus 4x plus 6. So if I take all of this here and I add them together, I get 8 plus 4x, right? I'm going to just combine like terms here. 8 plus 4x is going to be 12x, right? So I have 12x plus 834 plus 391 plus 6. 834 plus 391 plus 6, right, is going to be equal to 1,231. All right, and that's going to be equal to this 11x plus 1135, right? And now I'm going to subtract the 11x from both sides, right? Leaving me with one solitary positive x on this side. So x plus 1,231 is equal to 1135. Now I just have to subtract 1231 from both sides. And when I do that, what do I get? Let's see. I should get a negative 96. So I got negative 96 is equal to x. Okay? So that's important. Negative 96 is equal to x. And now, what did they want me to find? They wanted me to find AB. So I'm going to go over here. AB is equal to 8x plus 834. So it's going to be 8 times negative 96, which is my x, plus 834. And if I do that, 8 times negative 96, negative 96 times 8 is equal to negative 768, right? Negative 768 plus 834. And I'm just going to give you a tip. If you ever get a distance of a segment being negative, then you probably did it wrong in regular on-level geometry. So just be aware of that, right? So negative 768 plus 834 is going to be 66. So my answer then is 66. AB is equal to 66. And that's my answer. All right, well, I hope that made sense to you. Once again, we reviewed just what the segment addition of postulate is, and it's basically that the whole is the sum of all of its parts, all right? And then we went and we did some simple examples, right? Some more simple examples. And then we moved on to not really actually all that more difficult. The difficulty is you have to do some algebra in there to solve for x, right? Which you should have some good chops on with that at this point. But anyway, hopefully that made sense to you, and I do wish you the best. I look forward to talking to you in the future. Good job once again for getting the help you need, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.